Hey everybody, this is Harry coming to you, quarantined in the van. Just kidding. Got a house full of grandkids. School's out for the next 2 weeks. So three of my grandchildren are living with me, and I have three others that live in town. We went and visited them, so we had all the grandkids together at one time. So we went and visited them. So we So I had to hide in here to try to do these videos, get caught up. It's on my day off. And the wife goes for laser eye surgery this afternoon later on her left eye, and then she has to go 2 more weeks to get surgery done on her right eye. So, anyways, you're not here for that. So I'm here to give you the films that I've watched the past week, and I kind of let everybody else do theirs first. Bob does his always on Friday. And then I let Jay and Mike and James and whoever, Ian, when he does, if he does one, I let him do theirs, since I do mine. So I'm going to start off from the 8th up to the 14th, I think. The 14th. Anyways, I'll give you all the ones I've watched up from there. So I watched for the Grumpy Old Man channel. We watched the Big Lebowski with Jeff Bridges and John Goodman, Steve Buscemi, John Turturro. I love the film to death. Ian doesn't like it, doesn't get the humor in it, I guess, but it's a great film. I love it to death. It was a recent watch for me. I never got to watch it when it came out in the 90s, and then when I seen the Digibook in Walmart, I picked it up and watched it then a couple of years ago, and I just fell in love with it. So, The Big Lebowski. Then I watched a movie called Fighting with My Family that was on Amazon Prime. It was for free, and the reason why I watched it, I'm not a wrestling fan, and it wasn't because of The Rock's in it. He's in it for just a little bit. Nick Frost from he has done films like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, The World's End with Simon Pegg. So I was like, well, I never seen him anything else really, outside of that, except for Attack the Block. So I thought I'd watch it. I had Florence Pugh in it, Lena Headey, Vince Vaughn. Also had The Rock and a few other wrestlers in it, and it's based on a true story of a wrestler named Paige with the WWE. How her and her brother went out to try out for WWE, and she got picked. Her brother did, and they come from a family of wrestling. Her father, Paige's father, was a wrestler. The wife was a wrestler. The brother, all the wrestling family, and they traveled around England or the UK. And how she became a superstar wrestler. I read up on her afterwards and found out that she had retired because of back injury. So, but it was called Fighting with My Family. It was a good film. I gave that 3 stars. The Big Lebowski I gave 5 stars on. Then I watched the film Mike Gray 1951. He had posted this film back a few months ago, and I put it on my Netflix list to watch. I'm trying to watch some Adam Driver films. I kind of like him, his acting, and I've seen him in a few films like Lucky Logan, The Black Klansman, and of course the Star Wars, The Force Awakens, and The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. So I watched this movie called Patterson, which is the character's name. His character is Patterson. He's a poet, and he's a bus driver in Patterson, New Jersey. Mike loves this film. I found it very dull. I just didn't get it. I don't know. I tried to like it. I did give it 3 stars. Because Adam Driver's acting in it, and the cinematography was good. But other than that, I found it dull, very slowly paced. Um, so I don't know. Sorry, Mike. Um, then one day I was looking for something to watch on Netflix because I watch Netflix maybe once in a blue moon. As much I get it for the kids so they can watch their shows on there and such. And had to switch hands here. And so I came across a movie I never seen in the 90s. Like I said, the 90s was kind of a decade that I missed out on a lot of films because a lot of deaths had happened and raising 3 kids by myself. So I played catch up a little bit here and there. And anyways, because of the coronavirus going around, what's trending on Netflix was a movie called Outbreak that starred Dustin Hoffman, Rene Russo, Donald Sutherland, Morgan Freeman, and Cuba Gooding Jr. in it. And it came out in 1995. And I gave that film 4 stars. And if you haven't noticed, it's about a virus that broke out from a monkey in Africa and how it got transmitted here coming across. And then somebody got bit and, and it goes through breathing and sneezing and people get caught in it. So it's just something that's going on right now in the world, And it was directed by Wolfgang Peterson. Decent film. Like I said, I gave it 4 stars. I had never seen it before, and just crazy how that kind of matches nowadays. And then I watched a movie called with Buster Keaton, The Battling Butler, which came out in 1926. Buster Keaton is a rich guy, spoiled rich man, whose father tells him he needs to go out and become a man. Go out camping, go hunting, do all his manly things. And he takes his butler with him, which is Snitz Edwards as his butler, or his man Friday, whatever you want to call it. And they go out in the woods and they have this big fancy tent with a twin size bed in there. I mean, he's really roughing it, and he's in high style. But he gets mistaken. There's a boxer that comes to town, and his name is Battling Butler. And he goes to check in to a hotel, and anyways, it gets a mix-up. He gets mistaken for this Battling Butler, and tries to pretend, because he's trying to impress his girl, that he is this boxer. I find it to be a funny film. Not Buster's best films, not like The General or Our Hospitality or Sherlock Jr. But because it's Buster Keaton, I give it 5 stars, James. Fuck you. Fuck you, James. 5 stars, Battling Butler, 1926. Now, I like James. He knows I'm playing, I hope. Then I watched a Netflix rental on the 13th. Rambo Last Blood, the latest Rambo movie. I gave that 4 stars. Sylvester Stallone's niece decides to run off to Mexico to look for her father, who's a piece of shit, and gets stuck into a human trafficking problem, and Sly has to go and save her, and just a lot of blood and gore and little Home Alone theatrics. Stallone spent most of the last half of the movie making these devices that Kevin Connor would have made in Home Alone. So, but very good movie. I was very entertained by it. I gave it 4 stars. And then on the 14th, I watched another film that was on Netflix called Where the Money Is, with Paul Newman. I was surprised to see that on there. Never seen it. He plays a bank robber who has been in jail, and he pretends he has a stroke to make an escape, and then he meets up with a CNA or a nurse in this nursing home where he has to stay at so they can take care of him. Reads about him, finds out that he was a bank robber, and finds out he was faking a stroke. She's played by Linda Fiorentino. Dermot Mulroney's in it. Susan Barnes. A decent film. Not a great Paul Newman thing. If you want to see him sitting in a wheelchair pretending he had a stroke. But they go around robbing. They rob a Brinks truck or armor car, and they go around robbing stores. Doing pickups, making like they're the armored car people. So, interesting film. It's on Netflix if you want to check it out. It's called Where the Money Is. I gave it 3 stars. And then this week, I started Sunday. I guess I watched that on Saturday. And so I started my Quentin Tarantino marathon, if you want to call it that. I'm trying to watch at least one of his films each day. Don't know if I'm going to get one tonight. But I watched Reservoir Dogs, which I gave 3.5 stars. His first, I guess this is technically his second film. I looked on IMDb, and he had another film, but I guess it's not completed or was in fragments or lost or something. And so anyways, Reservoir Dogs, I guess it's considered his first film. Steve Buscemi, let's be professionals here. Tim Roth, Quentin Tarantino's in it, Harvey Keitel, John Madden. Did I say John Madden? Michael Madsen. I'm sorry, Michael Madsen, Chris Penn. I just watched this too. Anyways, I like the film. It's a heist film shown after the heist film, and it's done in flashbacks and stuff after the heist had done it and it's gone wrong. Classic Tarantino. A lot of you can see where his other films go on from here. A lot of dialogue, smart, witty dialogue. A lot of blood and foul language. So, but that's Quentin Tarantino, and that's why we love him, right? And then I watched last night Pulp Fiction, which I gave 4.5 stars. And actually, this is probably the second time I've ever watched it. The first time, when I watched it last night, I didn't remember a lot of the second half with Bruce Willis. Or, the second and third half, I don't remember a lot of that stuff with Bruce Willis in it. So I'm glad I watched it again. Classic film, man. Can't get any better than that. So, anyways, nearly 13.5 minutes of wasting your time. Appreciate you watching. Comments, any suggestions that you have, please let me know. I'll talk to you later. Bye.